Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi here, Friday morning. So we're doing a Friday freak out and freaking out because Scottie Barnes was on Twitch yesterday for over 4 hours. Because yesterday, this is something I should pay attention to because this has happened every year almost. When the new NBA 2K launches, Scott gets on there immediately and he'll stream on Twitch, testing out the new game for everybody. And he spent a good chunk of the day yesterday on Twitch talking to people. I caught about half of the 4 hours. I watched about half of it. Lots of interesting stuff happening on there. But one of the main important things that happened is a clip that got clipped out, and Monique had it in our Facebook chat, is that Scottie was asked by one of the chat people, "Are you trying to win MVP?" And he said, "Yeah, 100%. I want to win MVP." He wants to win all the awards. He went on a list. He said, "I want to go to the playoffs. I want to win an MVP. I want to be first team defense. I want to be DPO. He called it Depot. I want to be defensive player of the year." Evan Mobley won that award last year. And in some ways, Evan Mobley winning that award is a wake up to Scott saying, he's the same year as me. He got defensive player of the year. I want to do that too. He's saying he's want to go all out this year. And this year he's coming for him. This is the thing. I can tell Scott each year is elevating his game. Even if casuals think he hasn't gotten anywhere in his years, that's not true. There's a lot of stuff that Scott's doing to build his player build in real life, not on 2K, where he is building, institutionalizing things inside of him for winning. And some of that stuff is shooting better threes. Some of that stuff is understanding offenses and defenses better so that he can play within them better. Some of that is getting stronger and more balanced from working out. But some of it's a mindset. Some of it is actually the pre-thought right now to aim for goals and to allow space in your mind to go and achieve them. And Scott has a real open runway to take off this year. He really does. This year is going to be an important year for the Raptors, regardless of Scottie Barnes. It's going to be an important year no matter what, because in some ways we need to prove our naysayers and doubters and critics wrong. Yeah. In fact, this morning, ESPN kind of has a retraction. It's hilarious. They put us at 12 out of 15 in the Eastern Conference in their prediction earlier this week. And a lot of people had a cow about it. I know I did. I brought it up to Scott in his stream. He didn't read that comment, but picking us to be 12 out of 15 is really a sorry excuse. And ESPN's kind of making up for it this morning. They have come out with a second article today, kind of making up for it. Tim Bontemps is the author on this, to say NBA summer forecast, who could exceed or fall short of predictions. So ESPN predicted that we'd only win 33 games this season. But they've gone ahead and hedged their bets by naming 5 teams that could exceed their expectations. And the 5 teams are Oklahoma City, which is surprising because their 64 wins is predicted. They think they could go even higher than that. That's crazy. I don't know about that. They're more likely to be lower than last year because it's really hard to keep that level of excellence in this new parity NBA. I'm sorry. Oklahoma City is bound to not have a good year as last year. That's just the damn truth. They had a dream year last year. And as much as it seems like they're set up to repeat, I don't believe that. And I also believe that they won't get 60 wins this year. I think that they'll be more around 50, 58 or something like that. But they won't get actually to 60. All right, the Clippers. They think the Clippers are going to do better. That's kind of crazy. I mean, they're saying on here that Norman Powell and Amir Coffey and Ben Simmons and Patty Mills have turned into Bradley Beal, Chris Paul, John Collins, and Brooke Lopez. But I don't know. Brooke Lopez, Chris Paul, sure. But I wouldn't be that thrilled about John Collins and Bradley Beal. But yeah, they're really old, and I don't see it. They also think Golden State's going to be better than everybody thinks they are at 48. I think they're crazy. I think they're homers for Golden State when they do that. Miami Heat, they think they're going to be better possibly than 39 wins, partly because of Norman Powell. They're saying there. And then us, we're the 5th team that they pick that could exceed their ESPN prediction of 33 wins, Toronto Raptors. And this is what they said about us. Toronto went 30-52 last season while doing everything it could to improve its draft positioning. And with Brandon Ingram not playing a second with the group after a midseason trade from the New Orleans Pelicans, it's difficult to see a scenario where the Raptors are in this sort of zone from a win standpoint, especially in the East, barring a massive rash of injuries to the roster. When the Raptors began tearing down this roster a couple years ago under then lead executive Masai Ujiri, it was meant to be a quick flip back to contention. The moves the team has made since, including trading for and extending Ingram, all play into that belief. Teams don't enter the season in the luxury tax like Toronto is and expect to miss the play-in. Yeah, and that's a more correct assumption about the Raptors than the prediction article that came out earlier this week. Is that, you guys are lowballing us with 33, especially with the East. And I don't think people understand. Y'all are putting the Celtics in the play-in. They're not trying to make the playoffs at all this year. They're going to try and go below. They want to go below. Seriously. The teams that they think they may have overanalyzed and gave them too much credit: Minnesota Timberwolves, Detroit Pistons, Dallas Mavericks. Yeah, I'm going to say this. Just because they got Cooper doesn't mean they're a playoff team. Y'all are saying, oh, they got Cooper, they're a playoff team. No. That's not necessarily true. They think they overanalyzed the San Antonio Spurs. I think they're wrong on that. I think the Spurs are going to be above 500 team this year, not just because Wemby's getting better, but because of some of the added talent around him. And Trailblazers, yeah, what do you mean? Trailblazers, you forecasted them for 39. You think that's too many? That's probably right. But yeah, ESPN kind of amending a correction to the total wins predictions for the season, and it's kind of adding, well, maybe the Raptors will exceed 33 wins and being the 12th team in the East. Yeah, we will. We will. We're more likely to be in the top 5 than the bottom 5. I'm going to say this right now to the NBA right now. You listen to me right now. The Raptors are more likely to be in the top 5 of the East than in the bottom 5 of the East this year. And y'all better listen. People coming in to Scottie's Twitch, bombarding him with saying, you guys are going to be way better than everybody's saying. Yeah, Raptors fans are coming in there and they're telling him, it's like, these people don't know what they're talking about, Scott. Go prove them wrong. Stunt on these hoes and show them exactly how stupid they are with their crazy predictions that we ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Scottie knows the assignment. Scottie's ready. In some ways, like I'm saying, this is why you made that comment. This is why you're seeing these workout videos like G saying Scottie looks great in the new workout video, because he is preparing himself. And this is the thing. Scottie's doing way more stuff than we understand, man, in this offseason. Sure, some people are critical of him for being on the Twitch for over 4 hours yesterday. He was like, what are you doing? You should be at OVO. You're going to hold the controller that long, it's going to hurt your hand. People were saying shit like that yesterday. But I'm like, you know what? Let the man do what he does. It's like been a long summer, and he's been working out most of this whole entire summer. If he wants to take an NBA 2k26 launch day to play the game and enjoy himself and run around on the game and check all the features, let the man do what he wants to do. That's what I'm saying, because I know he's putting that work in. He's putting that sweat equity in. It's that he's putting in that work in the offseason to show off. And you know what? At this point in the summer, it's not like he's trying to catch up and cram for a final at the last second. No, he's putting work consistently all summer long, and he's feeling confident about the work he's put in and the results that are going to be shown when the season comes. In some ways, that's the air that I got from Scott sitting on Twitch yesterday. Is like the dude is confident that he's put in the work and that he's going to show it next year when he comes and plays for the Raptors. We're going to all see it. We're going to see the improvements that Scottie made and the toil of the summer, and it's going to be very evident. It's going to be very evident. I mean, I've felt these vibes from him in summers before we come in the season. I felt it last year. I felt it after his rookie year, going in his second year. It's a kind of thing where I know Scott has put in the work, and he's going to be showing better, improved play in different ways on the court. And I feel like, in some ways, the way Scottie's talking yesterday is he really does see himself making a jump this year. That, if he wouldn't be talking out of his ass saying, I want to go for MVP. I want to go for defensive player of the year. I want to be in the playoffs for sure. That one's attainable for sure. The other ones we'll see. But, with success comes success and honors. And in some ways, he knows he has to get the success first before he gets any kind of consideration for honors. So, yeah, Scottie's fun, man. Messing around on that game is goofy, man. It's goofy. Like, he's making his build and he's building a shooting guard. And it's funny, he was like choosing different styles for his character to shoot. And you know whose shooting style he picked out of the hands to shoot like this? Out of the hands? AJ Lawson. He went and got AJ Lawson's shooting style to put his character on from the top part with the hands. Whatever AJ's doing with his arms and his hands, Scottie likes it because he put it as his character's shooting style. Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's using other people's dribbles like Luka and James Harden, but the shooting style of his build is AJ Lawson, which is very interesting to me. We know that AJ's got a quick release, and he's got a very nice like quick, and that's why Scottie probably wanted it, the quick trigger. But yeah, Scottie made his character, and his builds. He made a few builds, and they were kind of meh, and everybody's saying, "Oh, your build is buns, Scott." Buns. That's what the young kids are saying these days. Buns. Your build is buns, Scott. He's like, nah, man, my build is not buns. It's calm. Come on, man. He's saying shit like that. The young lingo, and Scottie then goes to the apparel store and he gets his VC, which is the money and the system in the 2K. And he's going to, they're telling him which store to go to. Go to limited edition, man. Go to limited edition. And he goes in there and there's all these like real clothes in there, like stuff that you can actually buy in real life for your 2K character in the game. And it's crazy. Like there's definitely a strata of economics in 2K. Because some of these stores are basic and you got to just buy a t-shirt and wear it and run around. But some of these stores are highfalutin and they got high VC prices and, like anti-social club, like gear and stuff you can buy in there. And Scottie was in a pretty high expensive store, the limited edition store. And he decked himself out in a flower and red, white flower red pattern. This is like a pattern I see everywhere. I don't know the style. I don't know the company. It's like a white flower on different places. And he put the shorts and the hoodie on. And then he had a pink helmet on, like he was Daft Punk. And he's running around in his pink helmet playing games. And he's standing at the new 2K court. It's just pretty cool. It's got Oklahoma City colors on the court for the champs. And he's standing there. And all of a sudden he notices that he's standing next to Ronnie 2K. It's so funny. He's standing next to Ronnie 2K, man. He's standing next to Ronnie 2K, the guy who's like the celebrity, the creator guy for NBA 2K. And it's so funny. Like everybody, Erica Plays is in there and she's like, what are the chances that you're just going to be in this weird 2K virtual world and you're just happen to stand right next to Ronnie 2K? Yeah. And the other people are telling him, tell Ronnie to get your face scan right. Tell Ronnie to get your score up right. Your rating is not right, Scott. Tell him to his face since you're standing right next to him in that virtual 2K world. Yeah, it ended up that Ronnie 2K started running games with Scott. It was actually kind of cool. Scottie's in a game with Ronnie 2K and he's on his team and they're running up and down the court. At one point, it seemed like Scottie was playing with Jonathan Mobo. He was calling him on the phone. He's saying, John, where are you? And then he goes and finds him. And it wasn't very distinctly. He didn't say, oh, this is J-Mo. This is Mobo. But the character had Mobo's hair. He was going by the name of Duke Dennis or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, Scottie was running with Jonathan for a little bit in the games yesterday too. On the debut day of NBA 2k26. I did this last year too. The day that the new 2K comes out, he's getting on Twitch. And I need to remember that and mark my calendar. Because as soon as it gets on, he wants to get on there and get grinding to build his character up with the new things. And like he's in there walking around in the new game, the environment, and he's noticing people that have OD kind of stuff already. Like they've already built up their player and they've got crazy garb. They've got crazy high ratings already. And Scott looks at them like, yeah, how the hell did you do that? This game's come out like just hours ago. And how the hell are you already at this ranking? Yeah, I think that there are pre-release people that get to play before to test it. And that's why they have a lot of this stuff when the game starts and people are like, whoa, wait, this guy's already like a level 40. Like, how the hell did you get a level 40? The game just came out this morning, shit like that. I think there are beta testers that are involved in the game and they get a pre-access to it. And that's why you see people like that. But it's fun watching Scott play the video games. There's all the epic moments of interaction on the game, the funny things he says while he's learning the game and kind of walking around. It's like he's waiting to get into a game and he's standing on the sideline next to where they stand to have dibs on the court. And the video comes on, and there's like people coming on telling him about the new game. It's like, oh, welcome to NBA 2k26. This is the My City courts and the new game and stuff like that. He's like, why are these people talking to me? He's like, I don't want to hear your stupid video. he's like, do they have to talk to me every time with this dumb video right now? It's like, yeah, it's pretty hilarious, man. Scott, you're awesome, man. I love you, man. And it's so funny to watch you play video games and talk to everybody. And, you're awesome, man. He did interact with me just a little bit yesterday. I told Scott yesterday in the chat that Sandro Mamu and the Georgian team kicked Spain and Juancho's ass yesterday. And he was impressed by that. Honestly, Scottie saw my comment. He said, Sandro beat Spain. Really? Wow. That's big, is what Scott said. Yeah. Because he understands Spain's place in FIBA basketball and how important and big that team has been. In fact, I think they're Eurobasket champions. And it is a big deal that Sandro Mamu yesterday, the watch along did not go right. It was too early. Nobody's going to be up watching watch along with Lex at 7 in the morning. That's crazy, Lex. And the stream puttered out at halftime. But I did the first half. It was fun. And I have a lot of comments on Sandro Mamu and what I saw in the game yesterday for him in Georgia versus Spain. But yeah, it was a fail stream yesterday. And I apologize, guys, for the jankiness of the stream yesterday. It was weird. And I guess I just shouldn't do watch-alongs for FIBA, unfortunately. I may have been able to do the Canada game late last night, but once again, that's not a good time to stream a watch-along. 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the middle of the night from Nicaragua. That's another game that went really well. Canada trouncing Colombia late last night. I've got the box scores for both games, and I'm going to go over both Georgia over Spain and Canada over Colombia yesterday in FIBA action. Let's check in with the chat and see what you guys are saying. We got a lot of different comments. Masai Ujiri just got appointed to a new position. We've got to talk about that. We got to talk about some FIBA games. We got to talk more about Scottie Barnes and Twitch. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. All right, James is saying this. Mamu going to fit in well with our bench. Yeah, let's go to that box score right now. The Georgian game was really, really good yesterday. This is the thing. Spain is a juggernaut. Spain is a monolith in FIBA basketball and Euro basketball. They are a top dog. And, well, Georgia just showed them how to beat them. Seriously. And it's crazy because Georgia's team is very centered around the centers. It's a center team because the two main players that are from the NBA are both centers that play for Georgia. And that's our guy, Sandro Mamu and also Mr. Goga Bidatz. Yeah, the backup centers for the Magic and the Raptors are the two best players for the Georgia. And this is the thing, Goga is going to play a more traditional center because in some ways he's not that fast. He's not that skilled. They have other guys that are centers too. It's almost like Georgia runs a 4-center lineup, honestly. They'll run one guard, and it's a little guy from Georgia, the state in the United States, Georgia, a guy named, what's his name? Lamar something. I think it's, hang on, let me see. He's on the box score. What was that little guy's name? He's good, man, honestly. He does a good job for them. That is Kamar Baldwin of Georgia. He's from USA, Georgia, the state of Georgia. And he's like their little point guard. And he's running around. And then you got basically, like I said, power forward centers out on the court for them. So because there's already unskilled centers on the team, Sandro Mamu, even though he's a center size, he's playing guard. He is. For Georgia, he kind of plays guard because he is one of the big guys that actually has skills. Like he has ball handling skills. He has passing skills. He has shooting skills. He has all the stuff to play outside. So it's kind of one of these weird, fun instances where Sandro doesn't play center kind of things. He's out there doing guard duties. And it's awesome. Quite often, he'll bring the ball up the court, dribbling the ball up the court. Quite often, he's initiating the offense because he'll have the ball at the top of the key. He'll do a dribble penetration into the lane, and he's dishing it off to somebody to get an assist for himself and a bucket for the other guy. In fact, that was a big part of the success of the early game for Georgia was Sandro Mamu being unselfish. And that's like, wow, this guy's really going to fit in with Darko because he was passing first before he shot any shots for himself. And it was setting all of his other teammates up for success and getting them involved. And those teammates are not as skilled. Those teammates are not as good as him. And that's what a good player is supposed to do. You're supposed to make everybody else on the team better. And Sandro Mamu's skills as a skilled big man with better, like, good skills, ball handling skills, dribbling skills, shooting skills, is really helpful to get the less skilled Georgian players going because of his assists. So yeah, his box score was as such. Alexander Mamulu, it was 19 points on 6 of 11 shooting. He was 4 of 5 from 2, 2 of 6 from 3, 5 of 6 at the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and he was a plus 14. Yeah, and he had the highest efficiency, was the best player for Georgia, leading them to the victory. Yeah. Goga, very good game also, 15 points, 6 of 11. He was 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 4 from the free throw line. Sorry, he was actually 2 of 4 from the 3. 4 offensive rebounds, 5 rebounds altogether, 2 assists. And yeah, Gogo was really good. He had 1 steal also. Yeah, and then Baldwin off as the point guard, 12 points for him with 4 rebounds, 3 assists. And yeah, just a good all-around effort. Now the other side, Spain has the Hernan Gomez brothers, and they're kind of the two guys that are running things there. And Santi Aldama, 12 points. He was a minus 24. A lot of the game, Sandro was matched up with Santi, and he was having to guard him. And one of the things that the Georgians did really well in this game was they boxed out and rebounded so well. They really did. They really, really did. I think they won the rebounding battle. I believe they did, from what I remember. Yeah, they killed it on the rebounds. They got 46 rebounds, and Spain only got 29 rebounds in the game. So that's a huge difference right there. Huge difference. So yeah, the big men dominated, and they dominated Spain. Spain couldn't get any shots going, and Georgia was very much hounding them. I feel like the world of basketball has changed. In basketball, no more lazy defenses out there. I mean, I'm seeing it in CBL. I'm seeing it in G League. I'm seeing it in the NBA. I'm seeing it in WNBA, is that you have to have an aggressive, up-in-your-face defense now. There's no more of this laying back and waiting people to come to you. This is just the new era of basketball. If you're not putting effort out on the defensive end, well, a lot of coaches and teams don't want you anymore. And it's like the Raptors' style of defense is caught on more and more over the years. Like the last few years, Nick Nurse started this buzzsaw of defense, and other places are really taking on and saying, you know what, we need to have aggressive defense, a trapping defense, a full court defense, a defense that makes it hard on the ball handler to even get the ball up the court. And more people are doing this everywhere I see at this point. And well, teams that do this well and can really stymie and stop the other team's offense. And I feel like that's a lot of what happened for both Canada and Georgia yesterday, is that they just are shit disturbers. They get their hand in there, they're messing things up, and they're not allowing their opponents to do anything smoothly on offense, and they struggle and they don't get going. That was a big key to Georgia's victory, was that they were stymieing Spain from getting any good energy, good feelings, good vibes, good shots to go in and feeling good and getting in a zone. That's a huge reason why they beat them yesterday. So Sandro Mamu, thumbs up, man. He showed a lot of his bag. He made threes. He passed the ball to teammates, and they made him. He made rebounds, and he played a guard game as a center body. It's really crazy. Trevor J's here, Commissioner of Fun. Trevor J, thank you for being a part of this channel. I appreciate you. His words of wisdom are: if you do not see it, do not say it. If you do not hear it, do not speak on it. Spreading lies can destroy others. Once you put it out, you cannot take it back. So be careful what you say. Yeah, it's like, there's a lot of irresponsible people saying things online, misinformation, lies, on purpose. Some people may ignorantly put out lies and they don't realize it. And sometimes they get corrected and they feel, that's good. But some people that are maliciously putting stuff out on purpose to mislead the public or mislead people, that's messed up. In some ways, I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and Meta anymore, because in some ways they control the algorithm and the things that they're putting out. And some of it is not true. There's very much blatant misinformation being posted on Facebook. And some of it you can tell. There's one page that I didn't ever follow. I don't know why I was getting these in my news feed, and they were called historic photos. And it's weird, man. Like they'd send me photos and they just put them in my feed all of a sudden and be like, this is a photo of Toronto downtown and this, and like this person's car. There was one that came out the other day and I knew it was wrong. It was a fake because it had modern technology integrated in the picture with the old picture. And they were trying to, and somebody was confused. I think somebody was trying to be funny or something. And I was like, wow, this is not a real picture. This is an AI picture. And they're trying to pass this off as a historic picture. And well, they didn't do their fact checking or thinking about it because they actually used an item that wasn't in that time period in the picture. And I'm like, wait, that wouldn't have been there at that time. This is a fake picture. So it's like, look, they're going to be putting out weird news sites called like Science or Historic Pictures, shit like that in your news feed. And you're not even following them on purpose. They're just putting it in front of you and they're perverting the truth. There's a lot of weird posts from like science stuff. Like there's a plow I saw yesterday that's being used in Canada that's electric, that's quiet, that they put something, Facebook put it in my news feed just out of the blue. And they're bragging that it's so silent. And everybody in the comments saying, this is not a silent ice plow. There's nothing you can do for a snow plow to be silent because it scrapes the ground. Who cares that the engine of the machine is quiet? Yeah, there's all kinds of weird misinformation out there. And, they're coming out with all kinds of stuff. Like there'll be stuff in your newsfeed that said they cured cancer and this and this. You guys, we got to really fact check and critically think about everything we see now because the computers are lying to us. And now AI is telling kids to kill themselves and stuff like that. I'm hearing, people are getting involved with AI and it's the only thing they talk to. And AI is doing messed up things already. So yeah, man, the truth is harder than ever to discern. So use critical thinking, understand what you remember was fact before this age of all this bullshit, and continue to hold on to that reality before all this, because in some ways that was more reality back then than some of the fake shit they're coming up with now. Thank you, Trevor J, for your words of wisdom. Blessings to the Trevor Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. How about that? Yeah. Kaz is saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak crew. Good morning to Trucker Kaz. That's my cue to go look at the fantasy league for a WNBA real quick. After last night, I am beating Kareem by 61 points in our matchup. And Meredith is losing to Kaz right now by just under 30 points in that other matchup. So it's very tight matches for the semifinals in our fantasy league. The winners of those two matchups will go to the finals and play each other next week, starting on Monday, for the championship. So who's it going to be? Right now, the matchup is lined up to be Kaz versus me in the finals, but we'll see if Kareem and MK can make some moves. In the other games, Fiercey's beating Cool Cat. Reese's nieces are beating Logical Raptors Fanatic, and James is losing to Edmund in that one. So yeah, we have a couple games in the WNBA tonight. Dallas at Atlanta. Jenna Renault, Biniam Maru, and Paul Toomey are the referee crew. And then Indiana Fever at Los Angeles Sparks. Jeff Wooten, Teresa Stuck, and Agan Abazi are the ref crew for that one. So yeah, get your WNBA fantasy team set, especially if you're in the semifinals. That's right. That's right. Gee, I love what Scottie's been doing. In fact, I'm so proud of Scott and his workout this summer and also his trainer that we're going to do a Saturday Share the Love Club tomorrow for Brian Macon. Brian Macon had a health scare earlier this summer, and he's bounced back from it very well. And, he's had all kinds of different stuff going on this summer. And we're going to show the love for Scottie's trainer, Brian Macon, and all that he does for Scott and helping him get ready for the season. So come on in tomorrow. Saturday Share the Love Club, 9:30 a.m. Saturday tomorrow morning for Brian Macon, the trainer for Scottie Barnes. Yeah, we got to share the love for Brian because I feel like Brian's a big part of why Scottie is who Scottie is. That's right. James is saying, Lex, what's your player comparison for Scottie Barnes? In the beginning, for people that already existed, like I said, there were three guys that I feel like he has parts of. And they're different. It's Kawhi, the post up and the really good big hands and some of the defensive ability that Kawhi has. Magic Johnson with the passing. the electrifying transition passing, the no-look passing, the stuff that Magic can do with that size and being that size of a passer. And Magic himself recognizes that passing in Scottie Barnes. It says, Scottie Barnes is a lot like me with his passing. And then the other one's Duncan. Tim Duncan. I know everybody goes crazy. They're like, why are you picking those three guys? They're MVPs. They're amazing. They're top notch. Why you do that? Because Scottie's got that kind of stuff in him. And the Tim Duncan one's the harder one to see because Tim Duncan was one of the best team defenders in the history of the NBA. He was very cognizant of where his teammates were, and he always kept the balance for himself as the centerpiece of the defense. And if there was anything that the Spurs needed defensive-wise, Tim Duncan was coming to do it, whether it's a block, whether it's hedging, whether it's this, whether it's that. Yeah, Scottie's studying the game the same way as Tim on the defensive end, and he's being that defensive anchor as a team defender. And that's why I make those comparisons. Now, there's somebody I watched last night that's making me think he's coming up like Scottie underneath him. He's a younger player, and that's Keyshawn George. Man, last night, watching Canada take apart Colombia, and they really did. First of all, the announcer that called the game last night, two-finger salute for you, bro. Two-finger salute for unknown American announcer. I don't even know your name is. I don't care. I didn't listen for it. This dude was such a hater. He covered this Canada-Colombia game last night like we were the Raptors, Canada was. And we were the enemy. He was pumping up Colombia. He said shit like this at the beginning of the game. Canada better not come in here cocky. If they think they're so great and stuff like that, Colombia could embarrass them today. And he started saying, like, calling everything from Colombia's side. It was almost like he was downplaying and denigrating the Canada team because it's a threat to the U.S. team. And it's like, oh, he was talking up U.S. this, U.S. that. But then when it came to the excellence of Canada, who, by the way, was doubling up their opponent pretty much the whole entire game. Seriously, it was like 60-30. It was like 50-25. It was 40-15. Shit like that. They blew them out like right from the start. There was nothing that Colombia could do to Canada last night. But the announcer was such a hater. He's like calling it like Canada was the enemy. And was not. It was very much like how Americans treat the Toronto Raptors and U.S. broadcasts. The same thing. So obviously there's a douchebag American announcer down at America that hates Canada. And they're threatened by Canada's rise in prominence. See, this is the thing. Canada's not messing around in America right now. We are trouncing people. Last night, Canada won their game. This is the margin. It was 94-56. That's almost a 40-point win. That's a 38-point win. And this dude was trying to act like, oh, Canada better watch out. They might get beat by Colombia. No, motherfucker. We're way better than them, and we're going to trounce them. And we did. And I was trying to check in. I could only listen to him for brief moments because once he said something that's like negative or dissing Canada, even though we're up by 30, I was like, man, I can't listen to this jackass. I'd much rather just watch it silently than listen to this jackass calling the game last night. So, yeah, we kicked their ass, and I'll tell you why. It's because we have a very good Canadian team at America right now. This is a better team than the one Delano Banton was on a couple of years ago. This team's very well balanced, and this team is going to win this America. I'm going to put this right now. I'm serious. They're going to the semifinals. They're going to play another team, and then they're probably going to play the U.S. in the finals. They're going to kick the U.S.'s ass, and that announcer already knows it. That's why he was talking so much shit before. Because this team is way better than the U.S. team. This team that I watched them last night. I didn't watch the other games, the pre-qualifiers. I watched the one last night, and this team is really good. This team that Nathaniel Mitchell's running down in Nicaragua right now, they are very, very good. They've got all kinds of different moving parts that are in synergy right now, and they are working off of each other. And they are a badass team. I love it. There's a lot of weapons on this Canadian team right now that are just working really well in syncopation. Whether you start with Trey Bell-Haynes, as far as the point guard, the experienced guy, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Handle the ball, take care of the ball, settle down the team, set up the pace, and find his teammates and get them shots and make them shots. And that's the thing Trey Bell does. He passes the ball off and people get assists. He's perfect for it because there's a couple of sharpshooters on the Canadian team that are absolute badasses from three. Nate Darling being one of them, Keyshawn George bombing threes last night like it's nothing, man. Shoo. And Trey Bell-Haynes is finding them. He's finding them. And then you add in these stud athletic geniuses, people like Leonard Miller, Mfiondu Kabengele, Charles Bediako. These guys are big, huge, athletic guys that are strong, and they are long. And everything down near the basket, they're fighting for and getting for easily. In the beginning of the game, Leonard Miller took over right away and dominated in the first 10 minutes of the game, got 10 points right away, and broke Columbia's spirits right away. And he did whatever he wanted. He's down there doing Olajuwon dream shakes and putting the ball in. And then Thomas Kennedy comes in, and he's just rim rocking. He's getting up there and rocking the rim, throwing it down on people's heads. And then Whittler gets in there, and he starts kicking ass. And it's like there's a lot of depth and a lot of power in the Canadian team right now. And these games are worth watching because it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch Canada whoop a team's ass. And they're going to win in the next round, and they're going to go to the finals, and they're going to beat USA's ass. I'm saying that right now, that Canada is going to win the America Cup, and you heard it here first, because we have never won the America Cup. We've never, ever won the America Cup. Canada has never, ever won America Cup. We're going to win it this time. Nathaniel Mitchell's going to get us there. I can tell you right now, watching the way that Canada's playing off each other, they're going to win it this time. And part of it is Keyshawn George, and he is like Scottie Barnes. There's a part of Keyshawn George. I want him out of Wizards as soon as possible, first of all, because he's going to waste his time in Washington. He's got to get the hell out of there. I have a new affinity for Keyshawn because he's representing Canada right now, and he's playing so well. The dude is like Scottie. He comes down the court, and he's a good passer. He passes to his teammates too. So there's a little bit of mini Scottie and Keyshawn George. That's what I kind of saw last night. I was like, wow, that's kind of Scottie Barnes-esque, what Keyshawn just did there. And yeah, he is the best player on the Canada team right now. And he's showing really good leadership. The other thing is he's amazing on defense. He's a big, strong defender who can really guard on the perimeter, the guards on the outside, and he can mix it up down low and get rebounds and be a strong rebounder also. So yeah, he's an interesting comparison to Scottie, coming up underneath him as a younger player. So yeah, it's really interesting. Kaz is saying, James, I believe he said Charles Barkley. No, my comparison for Scottie is Kawhi, Magic, and Tim. It's a three-headed monster, and I've told Scottie this. He asked me. He said, "Hey, guys, who do you think I'm like in the league? Who's my comparison?" And I told him all three, and he didn't really say anything. He took it in, though. He took it in. I mean, that was after his rookie year when I said that. And in some ways, since then, Scottie really has gone into the low post and worked on his little turnaround low post games like Kawhi would. So maybe, hopefully, I gave him some breadcrumbs to get down that trail, to get towards that aspect of his game. I don't know. Maybe they were already planning that. It was like, Scottie, you know what? You've got the same kind of shoulders, arms, and hands as Kawhi Leonard. You could go do what you need to do down in the post, just like Kawhi does. You're strong enough. You're fast enough. You're the right combination. That's right. That's it right there. That's right. Yeah, Charles Barkley is the comparison I have for Colin Murray-Boyles. For the rookie. That's the comparison I have with Charles Barkley. James is saying, wasn't that for, Colin Murray-Boyles? That you were right, James. You were right. Yeah, your build is buns. Yeah. Scottie, I know you like to make shooting guards as your 2K build, but he was thinking about it too. He's like, should I make a big, guys? Because he's always complaining every year. We need a big. We need a new big. We need a good big. Lloyd is buns. We don't want Lloyd being the big anymore. He's buns. So why don't you just make a big, Scott, yourself, and be the big yourself, man? If it is, you can't find any good bigs on NBA 2K, you be that. You be what you think. You be the hero you need. You be the hero you need, and go and make the big yourself and be that. I know Lloyd has tried to make the big in the past. Jonathan's made the big in the past. Actually, the big that was doing really well was that purple guy that was on your team that one time, Scott. He was doing really good. He was carrying. This guy was saying, this guy's carrying. He's carrying our team. Man, let's see. Cat's saying, James, you might be right. Oh, I'm second guessing. Yeah, he is right. Colin Murray-Boyles, Colin Murray-Barkley, Scottie Barnes, Scottie Magic Barnes. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. Cat's saying, I watched Scottie lose to Licino, a famous NBA streamer on Twitch. After the game was done, Scottie went on to the game chat to say, good game. Yeah. He did lose a lot yesterday, but there were some games that he started getting things going and leveling up his character. And he's like, yeah, see, y'all told me to quit. But it's like, see, you got to go through the fire to get the success. And he didn't give up, so he kept going. Scottie's been very inspirational on his Twitch this week. You know, he spent a good chunk of the other night when he was on just real briefly talking about being accepting of people in their life path and allowing people to have success at different times in their life. And everybody's going to bloom at different times. He's very cognizant of this. Man, Scottie's such a wise guy. He just really has a wisdom beyond his years. And that's really benefited him in the very, very difficult situation of being an NBA player and all that demands. You know, he's got a good head on his shoulder. But yeah, man, Scottie, thank you for being on Twitch again and saying hi. In some ways, I understand, man. You got an NBA life, you got a family, and you got a lot of other things going on in your life at this point. And any kind of time you carve out for the Twitch people is appreciated. Let's just put it that way. It's appreciated. That's right. Yeah, Isaac's got Scottie on blast. It's great to see him. Thank you guys for raising the alarm. Kale, Isaac, thank you guys for raising the alarm as you always do and getting me in there so I can watch them. I was a little late, but I got in there in time to watch them for a good over 2 hours. So yeah. Blackhawks here. Big up, Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Neil. I hope you're having a great morning so far. Wayne Strainer, good morning to you also. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Neil saying, yay, Masai got a new position. My brother. Yeah, let's go look at this real quick. Masai Ujiri has been named a United Nations Sustainable Development Goal Advocate. So in some ways, he is going to be working for the environment in the United Nations. This is the kind of stuff I thought Masai would go in towards. Is politics, is maybe development of basketball in Africa more. He's already doing that. But yeah, politics, in some ways, NBA and basketball, going to another team's a step down for him, no matter what, from the Toronto Raptors team president. I'm sorry. Even going to the Lakers would be a step down. And Masai probably understands that. So I think that he's just going to go and broaden his horizons, and his horizons don't have anything to do with basketball completely. They may have more to do with humanitarian causes. They may have more to do with bettering our world and our planet. And that's what this looks like. United Nations envoy for sustainable energy, sustainable development goal. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And we know Ujiri is an extremely intelligent person, a charismatic person, a leader, and somebody who's very effective at getting across points and perspectives and information to people. And salute to Masai, man. That's a big, big deal, man. That's a big, big deal. Very, very cool. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Rapid Free Crew. TGIF. That's right. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And thank God it's Canada kicking some ass at FIBA World Cup, America Cup. That's right. Boom goes a dynamite. Wayne saying this. I like what I've seen from Mamu. His style needs adjustment for the core, but with our bench crew, finally they're going to embarrass a lot of opposing starters. Yes, Lex. When I checked in, you were gone. Yeah, on the game yesterday morning, I had technical difficulties. I want to say yesterday's stream was one of the top 5 worst streams I've ever done. And I've done like almost 1,500 streams. And I would say yesterday was lower than what I'd like to do. I just had an off day. And in some ways, the stream didn't work with me. And then also, it was just a weird time. It was a bad decision. I shouldn't have done the watch along. I should have just done the regular Thursday think tank at 9:30 with the phone lines like we regularly do, because nobody really was there to watch it with me. G was there with me, which was nice. And it was nice to have G at least there with me. But it was just frustrating. A lot of things yesterday were extremely frustrating for me. I had a bad day. Let's just put it that way. Today, let's make it a better day. It's Friday. TGIF. That's right, Cool Cat. That's right. Wayne saying, I like what I see from Mamu. Oh, wait, I read that already. Yeah. The other thing about Mamu is, look, like I said earlier, the skills that he's using in these games for Georgia are expanded because he can do that with their personnel, and he's one of the most talented guys. It's kind of like with Jakob on Austria. Jakob could probably play point guard for them because he's just as good a ball handler as their point guard. But in some ways, he's going to be center. So it's weird because this NBA skill, when you get to those levels of FIBA and you have your team countrymen, they're not as good as you, but you're like a very highly skilled big. In some ways, Mamu could be playing like I said, he's like the shooting guard right now. So there's a lot of stuff he's doing that he's not going to do for the Raptors. But if he has to do it for the Raptors, he can in an instant, which is awesome. So there's some versatility in that. As far as like, yeah, he can be another ball handler, bringing the ball up the court if we really need it in certain instances. And we've seen Darko do that, where he lets the bigs bring the ball up the court all of a sudden. I mean, hell, we saw Chris Boucher bringing the ball up the court at times in the last couple years. And, the thing that he can put the ball on the dribble from the top of the key to go towards the basket with penetration and kick out like an RJ or a Scottie Barnes, that's a big, huge plus for him in his bag because he is a good passer. And that's maybe the best thing we saw from his Georgia play so far is that he's a really good passer and he's looking for his teammates. And that makes him really a good Darko Raptor. That makes him a really good Darko Raptor right there. G saying Mamu played very well, didn't force anything, wasn't trying to be the star, needs some work, but you can tell he embraces his role and loves the game. Yeah, I think he played within himself. He let the game come to him. He took the 3-point shots when he was open, and he was good on a couple of them. And, I think that, like I said, he was doing a diverse bag of tricks yesterday. It's not just rebound and block shots, Mamu. No, it's take some threes. It's come out and guard this way. He really was shadowing Aldama and really kind of shutting him down. So, this Georgia team's not that talented overall. The talent is in Sandro and Goga. And the rest of them are kind of not that good. So the fact that those two centers from the NBA carried them to beat the great, infamous, amazing Spain is a big accomplishment. Sergio was pissed, y'all. That was half the fun yesterday, was watching Coach Scariolo react to the referees and his team going like a sinking ship against Georgia, because that's no good, man. They're not supposed to lose to Georgia. They're Spain, but they did. And Juancho and Willie couldn't do it to save them. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it to save them. The thing is, Spain is a rebuilding team right now. They have so much young talent. A lot of the players I did not recognize yesterday because they brought in even younger guys that are coming up. And, besides Santi and Willie and Juancho, the rest of the team's very unknown to me. There were a couple guys I recognized from the Olympics last year besides them. But for the most part, this is a very young new team. And you could see it when Spain took the court. They made a lot of dumb mistakes. Young players would. A lot of turnovers and stuff like that. Sergio was pissed, man. He was mad at the refs for a lot of the games, just yelling at the refs, arguing with them, looking all butthurt and mad like during the game. It's hilarious, man. In some ways, that was exciting to watch Sergio get mad. And Georgia was kicking some major ass. Cool Cat saying, yes, I see Nick Nurse Raptor style defense being used all over. It's become the norm. Siakam took it to the Pacers in his first full season, and on the team, Rockets do the same. Fred shared the info. Yeah. I don't know if it's like, we can't say where the first wildfires were spread from as far as things like who's the first person to do this. It's becoming a common denominator. I feel like 10 years ago, and basketball in general around the world, people were a lot more lax and not as active on defense. Or maybe a little bit more standing around and kind of waiting. Maybe in the LeBron's NBA, there was such a value on offense and saving your energy for offensive moves that you're not going all out on defense. That is true. There was a lot of that. Like some people would be complaining, like, why are you trying so hard? I don't want to play defense right now. There'd be stuff people saying like that. It's like, why are you trying so hard? I don't want to have to play right now. Some of the vets used to tell young players that in a certain era of the NBA, I'm going to say from 2005 to 2015, they say, why you don't play so hard? Come on, man. We're playing. It's a regular season. It's not playoffs. Let's just kind of walk up and down the court. And yeah, you don't have to come up on me like that. No, let's just play. It's just like, let's have a nice game. And you don't have to exert so much energy. Seriously, I'm a lazy player. I'm LeBron. I don't want to run around like you guys are doing. I want to play in my era. This is part of the reason why LeBron looks so bad in today's era, is because he's still playing the way he did 10 years ago in his era, where everybody stood around on defense and they waited for offense to happen and then they played on that end. That's the thing about this new era, is that defense is essential. If you want to have a leg up to compete, you better be doggedly defending. And the teams that aren't doing it anymore aren't playing hard anymore. According to Rick Carlisle, it's a play hard league. Well, they're losing and they're going to lose. And the teams that have not caught up, like the Lakers, they're going to lose even more this year. In some ways, ESPN, if you want to make predictions about the NBA, you need to make a play hard index and figure out which of the 30 teams is playing hard and which ones aren't. You might be able to justify your rankings a little bit better off of that, honestly. So it's the teams that are playing hard and going all out, playing defense like crazy, being dogs like Elijah Martin and Chucky Hepburn and Jamal Shed. These teams are going to look better. These teams are going to look better than the teams that are lackadaisical on defense and they kind of coast and they just want to score. I can name these teams. A lot of them are centered in California. They're older too. The Clippers, the Lakers, the Warriors. These are teams that don't put as much emphasis on the defensive end, and they put a lot more emphasis on the offensive end. Well, these teams are going to lose this year because the play hards, teams that are going all out on defense. These are the teams that are going to be successful. And in some ways, the evidence is there in the Georgia-Spain game yesterday. Because if Spain had the defense that Georgia had, maybe they would have won. They didn't. No, they didn't. They had a really good plan, Georgia did, and the way that they stopped them. That's right. Cool Cat saying I'm beating Fiercey. In my view, is my view wrong? Yeah. Let me see. No, I think you are. Yeah, I said you were beating her. Yeah, you're winning 306 to 267. Yep. You're beating Fiercey right now in the consolation bracket. Cool Cat saying Scottie mentioned Magic, Kobe, Draymond Green for his game style and IQ. Yeah, Magic Johnson definitely. Scottie played Lil Wayne song on his stream yesterday. Kobe Bryant. He said that this is a song that he used to play when he was a kid to get himself hyped. And he played the video and he's like, I don't really know the lyrics, guys, but I'm going to try and say them. I'm not really a lyrics guy. I can't really spit. And he did pretty good. He was singing the song along with Wheezy, the Kobe Bryant song. And, I know Scottie loves Kobe Bryant. We've known this for a long, long time. He's his favorite player. And he's the jersey, the shoes, all that kind of stuff when he was a kid. And yeah, he idolizes Kobe Bryant. Now, once again, the people in the chat are stupid. They're asking him stuff like, how long do you want to play for the Raptors? Are you always going to play for the Raptors? You should go somewhere else. There's all kinds of stupid shit being said in there. Scotty's ignoring most of it. But yeah, he played the Kobe Bryant video yesterday and sang along with it for a little while. Lil Wayne, Kobe Bryant. Yeah, it was interesting when he did that. I hate that he compares Draymond Green to himself. Once again, G's saying that's an interesting combo. Elite passer, Mamba mentality, and a glue guy. Yeah, I don't even call Draymond a glue guy. How can your glue guy go and punch a teammate like that in practice? That's not a glue guy. But yeah, elite passer, Mamba mentality, I'll take those two. Cool Cat saying that Team Canada used to be punching bag, but no more a pushover team. So folks are getting mad. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that announcer guy totally gave the Team Canada the Raptors treatment last night, which was crazy. I hadn't heard anybody do that. Normally in the FIBA competitions and their nations, there's no shade. There's no kind of like hating. It's kind of like this is a matchup where, I'm impartial and I'm going to call this game down the middle. And I'm just going to say, this is Colombia. This is Canada. The best team win. And I'll just call you guys the same. And I'll call you that way. No, this guy was hating actively on Canada as they trounced Colombia. And I couldn't believe it. It was an American guy. And it obviously was that he's scared of Canada coming to knock USA out in the gold medal round. In some ways, he hyped this up. I'm telling you right now, if I look at the rosters, you guys got Javonte Smart, Jemias Ramsey, Langston Galloway. We got a better team than y'all. We do. We have more talent, and we're playing better than y'all. Y'all lost to Uruguay, for Pete's sake, in the earlier round. And you may have righted yourself, and you're okay, and you're getting there, and you had your scare. But I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be ready for Canada. Because in some ways, Canada's got a good synergy and balance to what they're doing. They have role players doing roles, and they're about 10 deep right now. That's the thing. Canada's like 10 deep right now. Let's go look at their box score real quick and talk about it. I mean, they didn't lose the lead the whole entire game. They started from the bat, wire to wire lead over Colombia. It wasn't even close. And it just builded. It built and built and built. And each quarter, it went up by 10 more. It's like, okay, we're winning by 10 after 1. We're winning by 20 after 2. We're winning by 30 after 3. And we're winning by 40 at 4. And just domination. The biggest lead was at the end. It was 38-point lead at the end. And they went on 17-0 scoring runs. And they led the whole entire game. That's right. Shooting 51% from the field for Canada and 31% for Colombia. That was a big part of it, was that their defense did not allow Colombia, just like Georgia did to Spain, to get comfortable. Colombia couldn't get any transition going. They couldn't get anything. When they did, there was a quick timeout by Nathaniel Mitchell, and they stopped that momentum when Colombia would get a little bit of it. And it's dominating the boards. There was one point in the beginning of the game, the hater announcer was like, Canada has gotten every single rebound in this game except for one. And then he tried to turn it and say, well, that's part of the reason is because the Canada team's not missing so much. That's why Colombia doesn't have more rebounds. He's like being such a hater. He was so annoying. I had to turn the volume down and just watch the game silently because I couldn't stand the announcer. I don't even know who it was. But yeah, Canada didn't shoot well from three in the beginning, but they came and caught fire by the end and shot 38% for the game. Yeah, the free throw shooting 77% for them also. But yeah, good stuff by them. Beating Colombia. It wasn't even a matchup, man. I'm telling you right now, it wasn't even a matchup. It was like a trouncing. It was a rout. And there was nothing there. Let's go over the box score real quick. Keyshawn George, 18 points on 6 of 8 shooting. He shot 2 for 2 from 3. No, 2 for 2 from 2, and then 4 for 6 from 3. So most of his shots came from outside. He made 4 threes, and he was perfect in the inside, 2 for 2. 2 for 3 at the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. He was a plus 23, and he had the highest efficiency for the Canadian team at 24. So it's fantastic. Leonard Miller, very good at the beginning. Like I said, he had 10 points before Colombia had any points, 14 points for him in the end. They really didn't go to him near the end. They started bringing in the backup guys and letting them carry more of the game in the second half. And Leonard and Keyshawn didn't have to do as much later. They really did bring the bench in and allow them to get a lot of minutes last night late in the game. But Leonard Miller, 14 points on 4 of 7 shooting, 6 of 6 at the free throw line. 9 rebounds for Leonard, 2 assists, a steal and a block, also a plus 23 with a 23 efficiency. So those two NBA players, really, really big for Canada last night. Off the bench, Kyle Wiltler, 12 points in 14 minutes. He was really awesome. Part of it is that the Canadian team's really sneaky and smart. Like Kyle and Trey and Thomas Kennedy, these guys are vets. They've been around international play. And they're doing stuff fundamentally really smart. Like when they know they have a big advantage, they're going to it and using it down low. When they know that they have a speed advantage, they're using it. There was a lot of dominating around the paint by Canada just because of good fundamentals, boxing out and just attacking the rim. And they just really did a good job. Thomas Kennedy, 5 points. Yeah, it was really balanced. There's only 3 guys in double digits. And then a lot of people scoring all over the place. Javon Henry Blair, 9 points. Nate Darling, 6 points. 9 points from Marcus Carr. 8 points for Charles Bediako. 5 points for Kennedy. So everybody got on the scoreboard, even including Isaiah Mike and David Moonencat. So, yeah, really, really good effort by Canada overall, kicking the shit out of Colombia. Like, not even close. I mean, I would go look at Colombia's box score, but what's the point, man? They had one guy who got 19 points, and he had everything for them, and that's it. And he was a minus 22 overall. But, yeah, Canada's very, very good team. Watching them in person last night, man, Keyshawn George is fun to watch. I like the kid. In some ways, I want to get him out of Washington immediately. He doesn't deserve to play for Washington. Let Keyshawn go. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. That's right. James is saying Scottie is more LeBron than Kobe, in my opinion. Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that comment. Scottie is more LeBron than Kobe? Nah, no, man. No. LeBron, lazy. Kobe, not lazy. Mamba mentality. I would say this. All right. I don't really think Scottie is like Kobe Bryant, the way he plays. I think he has Mamba mentality that he wants to try and do. And hopefully he can be as Mamba as he can with his mentality. But the player type and the way that Scott plays is nothing like Kobe. There's nothing like Kobe. In some ways, the person to compare Kobe Bryant to on the Raptors is Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram, in some ways, is Kobe Bryant on stilts. In fact, Kobe Bryant is exactly who Brandon Ingram copied, all of his mannerisms. You can watch Brandon Ingram tape, and you'll see he does the exact same things with footwork and his arms as Kobe does. Seriously. There's a tape on YouTube, a comparison of Brandon to Kobe. You can find it, and you can watch it, and it shows clips of Kobe next to Brandon Ingram, and all of the muscle moves and what he's doing is exactly because Kobe has been copied by Brandon Ingram, and Brandon Ingram's taller than Kobe. So the comparison is that. And then the LeBron comparison's RJ. Yeah, it's RJ. RJ in some ways is a lot like LeBron. The thing that he's like him is the runaway train coming down the court, and nobody wants to get in his way, and he's laying it up with strength through people grabbing his arms. LeBron, very much, a lot of his game at this point is in transition, coming down the court, and I'm going to the basket, and I'm laying it up, and I'm just bowling through everybody with my strength and speed combination. Well, RJ, that's the motion that he's kind of doing in games that I see. So I don't see Scott in those people. I see Scott in Kawhi. I see Scott in Magic. I see Scott in Tim Duncan. But yeah, Brandon, Kobe Bryant, RJ, LeBron, RJ LeBron. That's what I see there. Wayne saying Scottie's more like Scottie Wayne Barnes. Exactly. Wayne Strainer's getting a dunk. He's exactly right. That is spitting facts this morning. The Sergeant spitting facts. That is spitting facts. 99. You got the Wayne Gretzky, or should I say George Mikan? Let's say George Mikan. Kareem saying, Lex, you going to eliminate me from fantasy? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to eliminate me. I'm trying to eliminate you. I don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, there's still time. And our matchup is, well, it's 60 points at this point. But in some ways, it's like, it is what it is, man. You had some really good players last night. They played some major stuff for you. But yeah, I'm impressed with Kaz. Kaz had 3 players that got over 40 points last night, just between 3 players. That's amazing. He's had some really good output from certain players. Let's see. Kareem saying Paige Buckets has been injured for 3 games. I know. And that's why I went and picked up Haley Jones and the other guard from Dallas, because I knew there would be makeup time to fill in for Paige. That's part of how you play fantasy. You pay attention to the injuries, who's out, and you get their replacements. And you go and you get them involved so that you can get points. Yeah, Paige is a glaring hole. I mean, she just got a 44-point game a week or so ago, and now she's injured and out. It's all timing and paying attention and being on top of the pulse of the WNBA and the injury news. And then on top of the wire, go get that waiver wire and get there before other people and see what's happening. But Haley Jones was a big pickup for me this week. She did really good in the absence. Oh, Grace Berger was the other one. And both of them with Paige out, they got way more time to play. It's the same thing in New York recently with Ionescu being out and, picking up people like Rebecca Gardner and other guards that are on the Liberty. They'll get more time because the big star's out. So that's definitely a strategy you want to do at the end of the year. And you got to pay attention to who's hurt and stuff like that. Shaq Lindsay's here. Thank you, Shaq Lindsay, for being a member of this channel. I appreciate you. How are you doing today, sir? Scottie wants it all. Do you think Scottie sees something in the water? I think that Scottie understands that, like, all right, there's a couple of things happening here. We can talk about what's happening with the Raptors and what's happening in the NBA. Now, with the Raptors, we are already in a rebuild. We've been trying to rebuild for a couple of years. As ESPN said, we've traded a lot of guys out and switched our roster from Pascal and Fred and Gary Trent and all these guys to what we've got now. And, well, this is 2 years of Darko. This is 2 years of laying the foundation and starting to build the first floor of the house that we're building with Darko. And, well, we might start to be able to live in this house because there's enough of it built. That's what I'm saying. That's what are you going to put the basement in, the foundation in the first year, Scottie and Darko? And then the second year, you guys going to put in the first floor? Well, let's put in that second floor this year. And, well, 2 floors in the house means you could probably live in it. Put a roof on it yet? No, we want to go more floors above, but we'll have ability to live in that house and maybe see it a little bit more clearly. And that's the thing. The Raptors and the timing of building that house is just happening to go into a period where the NBA and the Eastern Conference is weakened. It's weakened. And so in some ways, we were already kind of come in and try to go up. But in some ways, the things that were above us that were kind of in the way, they got out of the way a little bit more. So in some ways, we were going to come up anyway this year because we're destined to with Brandon Ingram and the increased getting better of our young players. But now it's almost like the field in front of us has been cleared out for the running back to run into the end zone because Boston, because Indiana, because Milwaukee's a really bad front office. That kind of stuff is going to make us be able to get in there. Some dysfunction on the down low with the Knicks. Joel Embiid is still not healthy. Yeah, this will all keep that backfield open for the running back to run it right down the court with the Raptors and the football into the touchdown with this year. Because we're destined to start coming up this year anyway. But boy, is the field moving out of the way to allow us the space to get up there and get up higher in the Eastern Conference than we maybe would have if they were all healthy and in a better shape. So that's the way I look at it. It's a perfect kind of storm of good settings to or conducive to the Raptors to be successful this year. And I see it. I see it happening. I think a lot of people see it right now. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay saying, do you think he's just fed up with all the naysayers? I know he is. I know he is. That shit bugs him, man. He hated that. The first year he came in the league and he was rookie of the year in the summer when we talked on Twitch all the time, people coming in and talking to him on the chat. Whenever somebody had a negative thing to say about him or the Raptors or what we were going to do, he shot them down. And he said, y'all need to stop doubting. I know I keep saying this, but it's true. Scottie does not like people to doubt him. And especially if you're a Raptors fan, like if you're supposed to be one of our fans of our team and you're supposed to be rooting for the team, if you think Scottie's not going to be that good, or you're saying things like, I think we should trade Scottie. I don't think he's that good. He thinks you're, yeah, he doesn't like people to doubt him. He doesn't. And in some ways that is fuel for his fire. That is fuel for his fire. That is what gets him into the gym every day, keeps him working hard and going forward is, his dreams for himself and what he wants to achieve and to be the best player, the best human being that he can be in the world. And also to prove naysayers wrong. Oh, yeah. It may not be number one as the naysayers, and maybe he's doing it for himself and doing it to get out of the mud and be the absolute best player he can be. But hey, that's on the list too, to prove the doubters, the naysayers, the people that say he can't do it wrong. And he's going to come like that. He's going to come like that this year. I see it in little bits. Like I said, every year he comes back with a little bit more added to the puzzle. But in some ways, like he said this week, the pace and everybody's schedule for how they do things is all different in this world. Some people get married here. Some people don't, have kids young. Some people have kids later. Everybody has different schedules in their life for how they do things. And Scottie's aware of this. In some ways, that's good because I don't want him to rush his schedule. Because if he rushes his schedule, he could screw it up. He needs to do it exactly the right way. And working with the Raptors and Darko is keeping him on the right schedule. Now, that schedule isn't up to any Raptors fans to tell him when it is. Oh, Scottie, you better do this by this year or this. No, fuck that. He's on his own schedule and he's on his own pace. And he's going to get there on the schedule that he is going to get there on. And I believe he will. And I think this year y'all are going to see it. You're going to see it a little bit more. And a lot of the stuff that I won't be worried about it because he's going to do it and everybody will shut up and they'll be like, why did we even say this shit in the first place? Seriously. I can see that, man. I can see that. Shaq Lindsay saying Sandro looks nice, but I don't think he's a center. Well, he's a plausible backup center. He is. He's not a starting center. He isn't a guy that can just come in straight up. And, he shouldn't be a night in, night out starting center, but he's a plausible backup center. The man is bigger than Aaron Baines. The man is, a lot stronger than you think. I know that he can be slotted at power forward, but he can play defensive center. I've seen him do it. He's strong enough, he's agile enough, and he's big enough. And that's the difference between him and other backup centers that we've had in the past, like maybe Chris Boucher or, who's another guy that we've had around that's kind of big, but not really a center, like Precious. He's a real center. Let's not get it twisted. I know you think he's not, but if he has to guard his old teammate, Brook Lopez, he can. He can. And that's maybe a good gauge for it. If we got Joel Embiid back healthy, which is not likely, who is Sandro? Can he put a body on him and kind of muscle with him? Yeah, he can. And that's really kind of what I look at. Is are you big enough and strong enough to muscle physically with the biggest centers in the league? Then you can say, well, he can kind of play center because he can hold his own physically with them. And he can. He can. Now, the other skills make him versatile in being able to slot down into the 4 or even the 3 in some cases. Like, would there be a weird situation where Sandro Mamu is playing small forward with Scottie Barnes and Jakob on the court, and Scottie's the 4 and Jakob's the 5? I don't know. That could be something the Darko looks at one point, maybe. Shaq Lindsay saying, I would like to see Sandro play with Ulrich. I think playing with a player like Sandro will open up his game. Yeah, I think that's a good comment. I think that is true. I think that all the players on the Raptors have something to teach Shamshe. That, Jonathan has taught him things, even as, them being rookies together. Jonathan Mobo being American and being North American and knowing the culture here and the different things, he can teach Shamshay some stuff. But yeah, I believe in this too. I think that Shamshay is proving that he is a great student. He's paying attention and he's a willing guy and he's sponging up everything. He's a happy guy. And I'm excited to see what Shamshay can do in his second year in the NBA. I'm very excited to see that. But yeah, I think Mamu with Ulrich, that's a good person for him to learn from. That's a good person for him to learn from. Yeah, we got Magic, Kobe, and James. Damn. Yeah, it's not like that. You know, Laker fan would get mad at me for saying stuff like what I did earlier, but these are comparisons. And in some ways, they're not on the same level. It's not like I'm saying Scottie's Magic Johnson. I'm just saying there's stuff that he does that's Magic Johnson-esque. And some of the skills are the same. It may not be the same. It's not the same player. It's not the same person. He's a totally different person. But there are comparisons. And Magic Johnson seen him himself. That's what I'm saying. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. Happy Friday. Busy at work the past few days. Hope all is well with you, fam. Thank you, MJ. Hope all is well with you, too. So happy for Masai. Yeah. It's probably a busy work week. Well, TGIF. And hopefully you get a great weekend with Fiercey Jr. and all kinds of fun stuff coming up this weekend. Really good to see you, Fiercey. Shaq Lindsay saying, Sandro was a brilliant pickup for the price we paid. No, he's perfect. He's perfect. The price is good. He's the best backup center we've had in a long time. I mean, let's look at Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk, in some ways, I would say he's less like a center than Sandro. Sandro's more of a center than Kelly. And Kelly, in some ways, was a great three-point shooter, a great leader. Certain things he's good at, flopping and dirty plays, and a little bit good with working with the refs and stuff like that. But in some ways, Sandro's a much better backup center for us than Kelly. Yeah. And I mean, we can go back to Freddie Gillespie, Ken Birch. Sandro's got way more skill than those two guys, especially the other two guys from Summer League, Alex Len, from Tampa year, Alex Len, Freddie Gillespie, Ken Birch, Baines. Sandro's better than all four of those guys too. And that's what we got to understand, guys. We've got a bona fide, I would say, top 15 center in the league, and Jakob, maybe a top 10 center in the league, and Jakob Poeltl. And we've got a very astute, solid backup that, God forbid, once again, if I say, hopefully this is not happening in any kind of way, Jakob has to miss games. We can start Sandro at center, and it'll be fine for a stopgap for for a period of time, I should say. If we have to do that, we can do that. And it's a suitable enough person to step up where there'll be a drop off, but it'll be a starter's level kind of ability. Because once again, I seen him in San Antonio and Milwaukee starting games next to Wemby and Giannis in the past. Sandro can be put in the starting lineup if needed because of injuries. So, and I think it has been a great pickup. I was overjoyed when I heard it was Mamu. Seriously. Because I knew we needed this. And in some ways, that made me feel better about the draft. If we're not going to get a center in the draft, one way or another, whether it's the first round or second round, Colin Murray-Boyles and Elijah Martin instead, well, we better get that center somewhere. And, well, Bobby and Masai did it before Masai was gone. Sandro Mamu coming in and being that center and getting signed on. And it's a very good signing. It made me feel comfortable right away. I was like, okay, the center worry that I had that I wanted to address in the draft, well, it was addressed in a free agency signing of the veteran Sandro Mamu-Lukashvili. So, yeah, it was really, really good. Really, really good. James saying breakout season incoming for Scott. I like that. He's gonna try and do this. One of the big differences that may make Scott look really improved this year is his hand will be healthy. And that'll be a huge difference. His right hand was messed up so bad last year. And it really messed his shooting up. And in some ways, his offense hurt for that. So if he's healthy and he can stay as healthy as possible all year, and his hand is fine and he's shooting way better. I mean, one of the things I've seen in the clips of Scott shooting around right now is he's got a very Kawhi kind of spin off his hand right now. Like he's using the guide hand very well and pushing like this. And there's a very strong spin. And what happens is that Kawhi shot this kind of low arc and it's very spinny. that goes into the basket. The shots he's shooting in the footage of I've seen from him working out in the last week is very much like that. And they're all very the same. Like if you see the footage I'm talking about, he's shooting with that flip off the hand that's getting very good spin, and it's going right in the basket, right in the middle, not hitting the rim, not hitting the backboard, going straight through the net, nothing but net. And that's just pinpoint accuracy kind of, and also the way that his form is it's very mimicable and duplicated over and over again. So I like that. In some ways, he's showing signs of two things in the footage I've seen from, well, three things. I'll say three things that he's done this summer. He's working with strength training and flexibility and joint strength and doing balance things with weights over his head and doing stuff like that. He's also rededicated himself once again this summer to working on his 3-point shot and putting up a lot of 3-point shots. So he's going to be improved from 3-point range just because he's putting in the shots and the effort. And then the stuff like I was just saying about working on his low post moves to become more overpowering. And if he's going to do turnarounds in the low post, well, that's that turnaround and that flip that I just talked about. And it's very, very Leonard-esque. You guys know what I'm talking about with the Leonard spin off of huge hands. This is the thing. You have to have huge hands to get that kind of English off the ball, to get that 4 bounce that Kawhi hit against Philadelphia. And in some ways, Scottie's got hands like Kawhi. He's got these huge, giant hands. I mean, my hands look giant on here. His hands are huge. Like his hands are like this big over mine. And, the ability to have that much finger length is to really get a good English to spin. It's just like billiards. It's just like people that step up to the green felt table and they know how to hit the white ball to get that woo and that backspin and stuff like that. There's a lot of that going on with huge Kawhi hands. And Scottie's hands are like Kawhi's. So, yeah, I could see those three areas, the strength and weight conditioning with the balance work. There's a lot of mirrored with Manuel and Jamal also in their off-season work. And then, 3-point shots, a lot of them. And then continuing to excel and work on his low post turnaround with making it more and more set in the technique. Yeah, that's the stuff he was doing, man. I'm telling you, I could see from what he's working on. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, I think Scottie should do his work and not talk about MVP, etc. Just leave it until you hit the court and let the work speak for itself. Minimize the noise around you. Well, to his credit, he didn't bring that up. A fan asked him, Scottie, are you trying to be MVP this year, in his chat? So that was a question put to him by somebody in the chat to bring up that subject. And Scottie's basic, simple answer is, do I want to be MVP? Yes. Yes, 100% I want to be MVP. I want it all, is what he said. I want it all. I want to be in the playoffs. I want to be first team defense. I want to be DPOY, is what he called it, DPOY. He wants to be defensive player of the year. So I get what you're saying, Cool Cat. It's not that he was bragging it. It's not that he came on there and just announced, guys, I want to be MVP this year. No, a fan asked him that in the chat, and that's why he said it, was the question. And he was just elaborating that, you know what, I want to excel and get all the awards. I'm trying to go get them, is what he's saying. Fiercely saying, who is the biggest, tallest center in the league now? Would it be Jokic? Who is the biggest, tallest center in the league right now? Well, I mean, I guess Wemby's not a center, so we can't count him because he's not really a center. I mean, I would say maybe Zach Edey. Zach Edey's probably the biggest, tallest center in the league right now. I mean, he's bigger than Joel, I think. It may be Joel or him. As far as mass and size and weight, yeah, I think it might be Zach Edey, honestly. He might be the biggest center in the league right now. Just because he's like 7'3" or 4", right? And he's pretty solid. So, yeah, I think it's him. Jokic isn't as tall as Zach. He's a big guy for sure. Wayne's saying Mamu is a good, big basketball player. Might not be a pure center, but he's competent and skilled to play that role. I will even go further to say his passing skills as the hub will pay dividends. I think this was part of the prerequisite. Once again, we don't want guys who don't pass. And Sandro Mamu is a great passer, as evidenced by what he did against Spain yesterday. That man was looking for his teammates, getting them involved. And Georgian players that are average or below average look better because Sandro had silver platters for them, where he just dropped it off to them. Boom, there's a layup for you, my guy. and I just drew all the defense towards me coming down the lane. Here you go, boom, unselfish, found the guy, the dump off, and there's an easy layup for a Georgia player that maybe having a hard time making his own shot without Sandro setting him up. So, yeah, there's a lot about it. He's a basketball player. In some ways, you guys, we could go over and over about what position he plays, but he's a skilled basketball player with his height and size and his skills, and you plug him in and play him wherever you need him. I think that he's an adequate center. Physically, he can play center, and that's really the prerequisite to me, is whether you can play center or not, is can you physically hold the biggest players in the league with your body and physical force against them where they want to go. That's what a real center is. You can say you're a center, but if you're not strong enough to be a center, you're not. You're not. That's why even short guys like Chuck Hayes could play center, because Chuck Hayes could push people around. Even if he was like so much shorter than centers, he could do that shit. And that's part of it right there. That's part of it right there. That's right. Mamu's skills beyond center stuff are going to be very useful and versatile. And in some ways, especially the passing. The passing has to be a part of Darko's system. And if you don't have it, well, I'm sorry, Chris. You're in the Celtics now. That's just how it is. Fiercely saying Kelly was more of a 4, but we utilized him as a 5 at times. Yeah, that last part of the season when we traded with Utah and got Kelly and Oshai, Jakob went out, and we had to start Kelly at center for the second half of that season 2 years ago. And that wasn't totally ideal. Let's just put it that way. That wasn't totally ideal. And part of it, that was part of where Raptors fans should open their eyes and said, you know what? Yeah, we need Jakob. I think that's all what we were saying around that time in that season 2 years ago. The first year of Darko at the end of the season when Jakob was out, Kelly had to play starting center, and it wasn't working. It wasn't working. And that's when Raptors fans should have realized, wow, Jakob is really absolutely essential for our team. Absolutely essential. Yeah, Fiercely saying Scottie in the paint is a menace. Yeah, that's what we want. We want him to go down there and beat up the little babies. Beat up the little babies, Scott. Go down there and show the little babies that you're the big bad man that can beat them whenever you want down in the paint. That's right. That's what we want, Scott. That's right. Fiercely saying, and Bozo doesn't count, laugh out loud. So if it's Zach, Mamu has an advantage in respect to experience as a player. Yeah, I mean, each player of centers is their own puzzle to solve. I mean, Jokic is impossible to try and figure out. How do you stop Jokic? You can't. Some ways teams will just guard everybody else and don't let him pass it to anybody else, or they don't let them try and pass it to Jokic in the first place. That's sometimes the best defense against the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic is either deny Nikola the ball from his teammates or deny him giving his teammates the ball from him. There's different game plans for different guys. Zach Edey's still young. He's green. In some ways, he doesn't totally understand the NBA, and he's not totally at his peak yet. So he's still gettable. I mean, Sandro Mamu, this is the thing. He just needs to be able to hold people back, like box out. He needs to hold people back. Or if people are trying to low post beat us with a big guy like Joel Embiid might, if he comes back healthy, which I don't think he will. You need somebody who can kind of be a weight and back on his back, holding him in. Precious did a good job in the playoffs a couple years ago when we were in that first round series with the Sixers. That kind of work. You don't have to be a straight up center to play good defense on centers, as Precious evidenced in that series. But Sandro Mamu will be fine, guys. He'll be fine. James is saying Scottie has a good touch around the paint. That's one of his strengths. He should focus on it more, build on it. Yeah. Scottie's got a good touch in general. Man, it's funny. At one point yesterday, people were watching him play 2K yesterday, and they're kind of like, Scottie, just stick to real life. You're so bad on here. You're so much better in real life. Like, just give up on 2K and just do NBA, like real life NBA. Because honestly, man, it's like, it's so funny to hear people say that to him. And Scottie's like annoyed with them. He's like, no, y'all shut up. I'm going to keep trying. I got to get my grind on. I got to try and build my build. Come on now. Stop being discouraging. Like, people were saying that at one point, and like I kind of agree with them. I'm like, Scott, you could do this in real life. Why are you doing this in a video game? Like, seriously, you can do this in real life, man. You have a real player build in real life that you're actively working on and doing things with in your real life with your real body. And in some ways, I know you're making player builds and you like playing the video game. I don't know. Maybe there's some cross section of intelligence and knowledge he gets from player building on 2K as far as seeing like the different attributes. It's so intricate now. So many different badges and so many different skills and numbers you can increase and be like this. And, maybe there is some sort of insight or knowledge that Scottie gleans from 2K player building that he can apply to real life with his real player build as a real NBA player in real life. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe he sees a new badge. He's like, what is this badge? Oh, this is dog badge at the half court line. Oh, this is the Jamal Shed badge. That's what this is. Or maybe he sees something. He's like, wait, what is this skill that they have on this player? You know what? I'm going to do this in real life on my real ability. That would be cool. I'm hoping that he's getting inspiration from 2K in those kind of ways. In some ways, it's true. Video games are not a waste of time in some ways. They're very good for hand-eye coordination. In some ways, there may be a simulation inside the game that is helpful to him in his real game. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Fiercely saying passing matters and greatly helps. I watched the WNBA games. Some teams have amazing passing abilities. Beautiful to watch the ball movement. Yes, that is the bellissimo game. That's the beautiful game that Sergio Scariolo loves. And when Georgia ain't letting his team pass it around for the beautiful game, he gets mad. He gets upset. But yeah, it's a team game. It's always supposed to be that way. And hero ball and isolation ball, the LeBron era, has really been bad for the league and really been bad for the game because that's not pure basketball. It's a team sport. And you're much better off being Michael Jordan passing in the corner, John Paxson hitting the three, than, just trying to be LeBron or Kevin Durant trying to shove the ball down the court and just score every time by yourself on isolation. Team sports, team game, teams win. That's what I say right there. That's right. W Stream. Thank you, Fiercey, for the W Stream. All right, let me go look at my tabs some more real quick. Straight goods on Canadian goods, guys. I'm talking today about a casual dining and family restaurant experience called Brown's Craft House, also Brown's Social House. This is the Brown's restaurant group. It's Canadian owned and emphasizes craft style cuisine with some local sourcing, entirely based in Canada. All locations across Canada and some ingredient sources from local markets. So Brown's Social House, Brown's Craft House. If you see a Brown's Social House, which is a restaurant, or I guess it's kind of like a restaurant pub, bar or something, you guys know that is a great Canadian company, 10 out of 10 score on the Canada list for Brown's. So if you have a Brown's in your neighborhood, in your town, in your city, feel great about supporting Canada by eating at Brown's Craft House or Brown's Social House. There is your straight goods on Canadian goods right there. Let's go to the Instagram stories. Elijah Martin is listening to Tech, TEC, and he's got Ketha's Son 2 playing and Crybaby and Fresh Out. It's fire. Tech is Elijah's what he's bumping to right now. Brandon Ingram has got one of his friends on blast for his birthday. Happy 28th birthday to my brother, Kemp Dallas. Okay, he's got the picture of him there. And then Brandon's also got a message here, guys. This is Brandon's words of wisdom. It's not hard. It's just new. This is interesting. So Brandon Ingram has posted 8 hours ago that it's not hard. It's just new. Maybe he's finding some good kind of friction, some good kind of obstacles. Not everything's so smooth. Maybe in New Orleans, it's casual. It's a lax vibe. In some ways, it's like, yeah, the pressure's off, but he's feeling it for Raptors because it's new and because there's expectations this year. And, the last few years in Pelicans, it's kind of been, well, it's the Pelicans. And, Zion's hurt. We don't expect you to do anything, Brandon, because Zion's hurt and he's not going to play. And we're not going to be as good as we could be. Expectations get lowered, and it just kind of becomes, a place where there's not striving or pressure. And it's kind of like maybe Brandon's feeling pressure again in his life in competition because of the new environment being in Toronto. So I like this. It's not hard. It's just new. Yeah, you know how to do the work. You know how to get in the right place. So do the work, show up, and you will excel and you will succeed. But yeah, it is new. You're in Toronto and you're going to be playing for the Raptors this year. And you're going to kick some major ass. I know you will, Brandon. That's right. DeMar DeRozan got a shout out from his old friend Romeo Miller, the son of Percy Miller, of course, No Limit Soldiers, and also former Raptor. But Romeo Miller is a childhood friend of DeMar DeRozan. And well, he's at a school with some kids, and they're doing a shout out to DeMar. The kids have love Debo. The kids love Debo, and they're saying hello. And Romeo's saying, "Yeah, I'm going to send this to my friend DeMar." And all the kids are saying, "We love you, DeMar. We love you. We love you." And DeMar reposted it. So there you go. Shamshay has got this guy who's trying on fits, and he puts on this crazy jacket, and all of a sudden his anime style. And I know Shamshay loves anime, guys. Like, if there's one thing I know about Aura Shamshay, this man loves watching anime. Like, he's been an anime fan since he was over in Cameroon. It's not a new thing to him, man. In some ways, he's always kind of been interested in the anime and the manga and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's very cool to see. And he even has a clip of anime that he's watching from last night. And it looks like a crazy fight scene. It looks like they're at the Tower of Pisa in the fight scene. I don't know what anime show that is. Anime experts would probably be able to see the scene and be like, oh, he's watching Dragon Ball Z, or he's watching what's another one, Hack or something. I don't know. I don't know all the animes. Luguette Dort still celebrating, becoming like a very big deal in Montreal, being a champion of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and coming back with the Larry O'Brien. And he got to sign a book where that's a special book in Montreal that famous people get to write in for doing something major. And he got to write in there, and it's really cool what he wrote in the book. He wrote something like, what did he write? Where is it again? I don't see it. Where did it go? He wrote something like, never give up on your dreams and always remember where you come from. And North Montreal, stand up. It's something like that. So it's pretty cool. Of course, he was doing a camp in Montreal also, it looks like. And yeah, there he is with the Larry O'Brien at the political office in Montreal, getting all this esteem from the mayor and stuff like that. So good job, Luguette Dort. You're a hero. Toronto Tempo president Teresa Resch has put on blast that September 13th and 14th it will be Momentum Montreal. They're going to be doing events in Montreal for the Tempo and pre-ways, and it's going to be in Longineux, Quebec at Centre Sportif on September 13th to 14th. So RSVP, if you're interested in going to a Montreal Toronto Tempo event on the 13th and 14th of September, check it out. What else do they got? They got a skills and drills going on for girls only, no matter your level. And they've got they've got different times for different ages at this thing going on September 13th in Montreal. Lloyd is walking around the streets. I'm guessing he's in New York. That looks like a New York City street. Or is that Toronto? You can't tell. The license plates are not able to see. Either way, why not, Lloyd? I did see Lloyd in the chat with Scott yesterday moderating. He was catching some strays from Scott. Scott did kind of get down on Lloyd for not being good enough at 2K. And there was a little bit of back and forth, the talking trash about who's the better 2K player between why not Lloyd and Scottie Barnes. Jamal McGlure has got the Revelers from Caravana on blast still. The West Indian Day Parade there, and the winner's circle of the gala for the Revelers is coming up September the 14th at Paradise. Let's see. He's also got a quote from Michael Beasley. This is what Michael Beasley has a regret about his playing career. He said, if I could do it all over again, I would have just listened to Pat Riley. Pat told me to get a condo for me and my mom. I got a 6-bedroom house, dogs, homies, staying in, and that's where all the problems came from. So that's it right there. Don't move into a mansion with your friends. Get a condo and just stay with your mom is what Pat Riley told Michael Beasley, and he didn't listen, and his career went the way it did. That's what it is. Happy Caribbean Awards Day is what Jamal McGlure is saying. Grady Dick, this is really interesting, and I talked about this yesterday, guys. Grady Dick is in UCLA, so I'm wondering if we are going to see a couple Raptors on the Rico runs, because I think Grady Dick and Jamal Shed are at Rico runs, guys. So we may need to monitor the Rico runs because I think Grady might be showing up on it because he is in California. And, well, there he is with his campers, a huge group. Wow, look at the group that he got in Wichita with the kids for the camp this year. Grady, wow, That looks like 500 kids, man. That is a lot of kids that were at the Grady Dick basketball camp this year. Wow. And I see one kid up front wearing the Raptors jersey. There's another kid wearing a Raptors shirt. I love it, man. You kids support our Raptors over there in Wichita, Kansas. That's right, Grady Dick. That's right. Norman Powell's on the court, put in work, understanding the grind, working the ball around, working. I'm not sure who he's working out with, whether he's in California or in Miami to start working out with the Heat. Not totally sure where he is, but he's on the court. That's for sure. Chucky Hepburn loves boxing, and there's a new Netflix special coming out that he is putting on hype right now. What is it? TB Duck Crawford or something like that. I don't know who posted this, but yeah, it's a boxing documentary show that he put on there. Bruno Fernando is first team Afrobasket on the list for Angola. Is also on the list with him is his teammate Chidi Dondo. And then Koulibaly from Mali is on the list along with Diarra. And then Badio is the one guy from Senegal on the first team All-Stars of the Afrobasket that just finished up. So Bruno Fernando, congratulations on that. Really, really successful. Serge Ibaka is in Paris right now, guys. And he's wearing a cool hat is what it looks like in his picture. He's taking a selfie and he's got a cool hat. Where in the world is Serge Ibaka? He's in France, guys. That's where I seen him. Chris Boucher has got some goofy SpongeBob meme right here saying, when I have to explain something more than 2 times, motherfucker, look. He's also got some pictures of him in action. He's got some interesting messages. There he is getting a massage. There's a call he's getting from somebody on the phone in the car. There he is at TMU doing runs still, putting in that work. Films by Jacob. Then he's got Shia LaBeouf saying, I don't give a shit about what people think about me. I don't give a fuck what you think. And Deion Sanders saying, you don't define who I am. You don't know who I am. Stuff like that. Conor McGregor in the same clip. So it's basically Chris saying, I don't give a shit what any of y'all think about me. And then he's got an anime clip. Speaking of anime, the type of locked in you need to be for the next 5 months, being the NBA season. And it's like a crazy thing where Inuyasha is getting punched around his head and he's just dodging the punches. So, yeah, Chris is locked in for the Celtics. Savannah Hamilton is that she's 40 for sports, summer social. And it's bringing together an amazing group of women last night to celebrate and support each other. Women in sports. Very cool. She's for sports. Summer social event going on. And Savannah was there. Emmanuel Quickly's on the 2K right away. 2k26. And he's adding Ronnie 2K, who was with Scottie yesterday. But yeah, I see Emmanuel on the 2K court with his player, number 5 in the Raptors jersey. Probably, I don't know what mode he's in, but at least Emmanuel's found his skin and his name in the game, and he's playing as himself. Meanwhile, Scottie wants to run around as Daft Punk when he's playing. Yeah, I'm going to like that one real quick. Siakam has got Jarace Walker on here, and he's talking about something Siakam did for him this summer and how much it meant for him. Sandro Mamu is proudly putting his stat line up from the 83-69 victory over Spain yesterday. 19 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists for Sandro. Way to start on the next one. Proud of my boys. There you go, Sandro. Keep going. It's a big victory. That's a big deal. Y'all beat Spain. That is a big, big deal. He's reposted the Raptors celebrating him also. I love the solidarity and the love. Sandro Mamu is very happy to be a Toronto Raptor, guys. Yeah, and then, that's about it on the Instagram stories for today. There you go. Yeah, good stuff. The 2K release yesterday. Big deal to Scottie Barnes and Emmanuel Quickly. And that's what they've been doing right there. That's right. That's what they've been doing. Yeah, let's see. All right, where are we in the chat? Let me see. Fiercely saying, what does craft style cuisine mean? Well, craft style is like, it's pub. It's like pub food. It's like, I guess it's like, craft beer, craft style food. It's kind of like small business, maybe small batches. I don't know. In some ways, it's like that. It's like, I would think it's Irish or English pub kind of food, that kind of stuff. I think, yeah, wharf type of food, maybe. There's fish involved, I guess. Yeah, Fiercely saying, I like it. Not hard, but new. BI's got bars. Yeah, not hard, not new. It's just a meme. I mean, it makes sense. In some ways, he may be feeling some friction, some roadblocks, but they're ones that may be familiar and that he's done before, and it's just he hadn't seen them in a while. And that's what I think it is. I as long as Brandon's healthy and he can play for the Raptors and go out there and produce, we'll be good. We'll be good. We'll be good. Yeah. Fiercely saying, yes, that book is symbolic and stays at the mayor's office. Happy for Lugetz. Yeah. It's the mayor's office book, and he wrote in, and I love his handwriting. It's very similar to mine. It's it's not the cleanest, but in some ways, it's like it's authentically Lugetz. And yeah, it was cool. He wrote a big his signature, and he wrote in a little script comment saying, don't forget where you come from. Is basically what he was saying. Shaq Lindsay saying we have so many shooters off the bench. It makes our bench not only good defensively but also a force offensively. Yeah, I never understood this perception that the Raptors don't have shooters. That once again is a lazy casual take. That may have been true like 2 or 3 years ago. Gary Trent Jr. was our only shooter for a while on our team, but that's not true anymore. The Raptors have pivoted to getting more competent shooters around our team, and that's evidenced by the battle dick kind of guys on our team. And Sandro Mamu is a great shooter too. I mean, if you leave him open on the outside, he's going to make threes. And even guys like, we have a better shooting team than people like to give us credit for. Some people look at our team, they say nobody can shoot on their team. That's bullshit, man. Emmanuel can shoot. Grady can shoot. Jamison can shoot. RJ can actually shoot pretty good threes from outside. So can Scottie when his hand's not busted. So, and Brandon's a great shooter too. So this whole weird trope that people saying the Raptors have no shooters to space the floor. What? You're kidding me, right? Seriously, Grady Dick is a top-notch shooter. Like a lot of these top-notch shooters around the league, he's going to be more in the zone this year. Watch. Even Oshai is a great three-point shooter too. So it's like, I don't get this. I don't get why it's a weird label that the Raptors don't have shooters. It's bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. And if you hear people go along those lines in an argument with you, just point out what I just said. What do you mean? Look at Jamison Battle. Look at Grady Dick. Look at Emmanuel quickly and how he shoots. Come on now. We have shooters. We do. That's right. Fiercey saying, thank you for the explanation. Next, anytime, Fiercey. That's part of what I do here. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying Jacoby, Grady, Oshai, and now Sandro. The bench could be one of our best. Elijah Martin's a big shot maker too. Elijah Martin for Florida Gators, he made some big shots in that tournament to help the Gators get to that national championship this year. Chucky Hepburn actually surprised me in Summer League. I didn't expect much from him offensively, but he had a nice three-point shot too. He was very good for steals and threes. So there is a lot of potential with our team to shoot well this year. I think they will. I think that they're underrated. I think people are overlooking them. And it's part of the gaslighting of the U.S. media that says, oh, the Raptors have no spacing and shooting. I think that's absolute horse crap. I think that's absolute horse crap. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying, how many teams have this number of shooters off their bench? I mean, I'm not going to get with the other rosters and kind of count them and stuff like that. I mean, it's true. Some teams seem like they're just like thick with thieves with shooters. That they just, wow, they have so many shooters coming off the bench. And it's just like our guys aren't known and have the prestige of it in some ways. But in some ways, they could get real well known and get noticed for this year. Well, trust me. I want to see Grady make a leap as a very good shooter off the bench that absolutely knocks down everything he comes out and shoots. Seriously, he could be like that this year. We have to see if he can get to that level. All right, let's keep going. Let's do some Raptors Reddit reactions real quick. There's Scottie put in the work. This is the actual clip of Scottie put in the work on the scene. He looks stronger. His legs look really strong. He's wearing shorts, so you can see him. And then he's like, yeah, there's some of the form with the shot I was talking about where he's rising up, and it's a very focused, like Kawhi motion where the guide hand is very strict, and he's just flipping through it, and he's getting really good rotation, and it's nothing but net. He's not hitting the rim. It's all going through the twine in this footage I'm seeing here. So, yeah, thank you, Brian Macon, for helping Scottie. And go on then, Scottie. Keep going, man. Yeah, Georgia stuns Eurobasket, defending champion Spain behind a great performance by newly signed Toronto Raptors Sandro Mamu. I love it. I love it. That's on Raptors Reddit right now. That's beautiful. Yeah. Let's see what else. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here about Sandro and his win yesterday. So people are very happy about that and what he did. So, yeah. Okay. I think that's pretty much I think that's pretty much the new Raptors Reddit stuff that I hadn't seen yet. And it's kind of the same stuff. It's goofy. It's goofy. It's very goofy. Let's see if there's anything there. Nothing there. And I did kind of go over that ESPN article. Happy birthday to Carlos Delfino. Carlos Delfino of Argentina is a former Raptor, and he is also a great international player. Delfino is 43 today. Happy 43rd birthday to Carlos Delfino. Yeah, that's right. 43. Wow, he's getting up there. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else do we have on the tabs that I need to get to? Yeah, it's pretty much there. Let's see what you guys are saying here, too. Kareem saying, I think Battle needs to etch himself as a marksman this year. I think he's already done that. I mean, since he showed up, he's got his foot in the door and he's kept here in the NBA. And he came from nowhere. I mean, he was undrafted. He came into the summer league and wowed us in the summer league, and boom, he hasn't looked back, and he still keeps going. But I agree. I think that in some ways he wants to take a jump. He's done a good job with the weightlifting and getting stronger as a player. And he's gotten better with the defense and the rebounding, and that's helped him be a more well-rounded NBA player. So, Jameson, of course, I think that Darko was working with him last year on more steps to the side shots, more kind of get your own shot by like just kind of a little bit of dribble around the edge of the three-point line and getting open shots that way. He's worked on getting his own shots, opening his own shots more. So maybe we'll see that more this year. We'll see. Jameson, in some ways, may not get as much time on the regular Raptors. And some of the stuff we see from him will have to be on 905 more. Like, I'd love for him to go to 905 and start dominating games and winning games because he hits huge shots and he scores like 30 points. That's a good sign of him being like, okay, yeah, he's too good for G League. And he needs to just like do that in the G League level. That's the next step for me. For him is go to the 905 this year, Jameson, and be the man, like run that team and get like 30-point games and win. That's what I want to see from him. That's right. Yeah. Cream saying, nah, marksman don't miss. He's going to kill it this year. Yeah. We want to see him and Grady be absolute dead eyes that do not miss. That's right. Stargate's here. Good morning, Stargate. Did you guys see that Will Udi article about the Raptors in San Antonio and Jakob? It's annoying. I don't know. I didn't see it. The one thing I will say about the Spurs is that the Spurs fans have been upset. They have. In some ways, they've been upset because they loved Jakob and they miss him. In some ways, Spurs Nation misses Jakob Poeltl. They really do. They miss Sandro already, too. The Spurs fans I've seen in comment sections have been saying stuff like, man, it was already tough to lose Poeltl to the Raptors. Now we've lost Sandro to the Raptors. And they feel it. They feel sad about it. They really like both those players, and they think that they're super good. So in some ways, they come with them as fans. I think that they want to see Poeltl and Mamu play really well for the Raptors because they have a lot of affinity for them. So, yeah, what did they say about the Spurs getting the last laugh as it backfired on the Raptors? I don't know. This is a perception. This is a opinion piece. And it's from their perspective, and whatever they want to tell themselves to make themselves feel better at night, go ahead. Either way, it's not like I'm mad at Spurs Nation because I'm in Spurs Nation too. And I don't see what he's saying. Whatever his reasoning for the thing with Jakob, you're crazy. And in some ways, it's whatever is your perception you want it to be. You go ahead, Spurs fan. You tell yourself that. How about that? That's what I say to that. I don't even know what he said. I don't care what he said. It's whatever he has to tell himself to make himself feel better. That's fine. If he's trying to write history and say this is how this happened and this is how it should be perceived, well, it's not his to decide that. It's not his to decide that. Yeah. Spurs are bitter because we won with KL. There's a little bit of that, but not really. Not really. I mean, most of that's focused at Kawhi. It's most of this. They're not mad at us for winning. In some ways, they probably were like, well, this kind of makes Kawhi look better. And in some ways, they may be happy about that, but maybe not. If they're salty and they hate Kawhi, they weren't happy about it. But no, they're more directly mad at Kawhi and not at the Raptors. And, I don't think they're that bitter about it. I mean, some Spurs fans, if they're smart, would say Kawhi winning with the Raptors actually makes us look better too, in some ways, if they're smart. And the other thing is I've noticed is some people are not as pissed at Kawhi at this point. There may be some Spurs fans that are absolutely bitter against Kawhi, but I'm seeing him more and more popping up on Spurs fans' Mount Rushmores again. And he was banned from those for a while. They would go around to exclude him. They would be like be Duncan, Robinson, Ginobili, and Parker are the Mount Rushmore of Spurs. But I've seen some people putting it up now as Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, and Leonard as the Mount Rushmore of the Spurs instead of Robinson being involved. So it's interesting. I think that some of the anger towards Kawhi has cooled off, and Spurs fans have kind of let it go. Some of them, not all of them, not all of them. Some of them are still bitter in some ways towards Kawhi and what could have been. But yeah, it's stupid. All right, let's do the classic card of the day, y'all. Let me get that card out. This thing's so full, it's like jammed full with the cards. Thank you, Trevor, for sending the cards. All right, let's see if we get another interesting card. Yesterday we had an all-star card because there's new cards in here that I haven't been doing lately, and we'll see what we get. I don't want to do that card. Let's do this one. That's weird because I kind of called that card out the other day. Yeah, we can actually. I've done this guy as a card recently. Another card. Oh, wow. This is really hard. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is a really hard card. All right, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's see. Let's see. Kareem saying Kawhi left Spurs fan pissed. Then a year later won a chip and leaves and pissed off all of Canada. He's a villain. He is a villain to a degree, but in some ways he's a silent villain and he doesn't say anything to rub it in, so people don't get as mad at him. He's kind of like he just does his villainous stuff, but he doesn't make a big deal out of it. And then it happens, and then we're like, okay, that's what happened. All right, here we go. Classic card of the day. Tell me if you know who this player is. This is a tough one. This one's an older card. This is a player that was not in the league in a prominent way. And man, if you can tell who this player is from this card, I'll be very impressed. I will give you clues on their name if you guys struggle too long. Look at that Wolves jersey. That's a very early Timberwolves jersey, guys. That is like an expansion Timberwolves jersey right there. That's way before Kevin Garnett, guys, just so you know. Yeah, who's the classic card of the day? This guy's a champion in the NBA, though. He has a championship. I won't tell you what team and year he won it on, but I'll give you clues at some point. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. So any classic card guesses, please write the full name answer in the chat, and you can get the classic card points for today. Who is this classic basketball card that I have today? This is a Topps card of some sort. Who is this player for the Timberwolves? And do we have Slug Deezy or Smooth around the top classic card players that could possibly get this player? Two name answer. Who knows the answer? Yeah. Yeah. Spurs fans shouldn't be shooting shots at the Raptors. If they are, that's insecurity, not individual. There's no reason for Spurs Nation to take shots at Raptors Nation. And anybody who wrote a piece about like trying to feel better about deals and stuff like that, you're idiots. Seriously, just get over yourself. Whether it has to do with Thad Young, Jakob Poeltl, or whoever, it doesn't matter. I have no problem with what the Raptors have done and their deals with the Spurs in the last few years. A lot of Raptors fans have, but they're idiots. And, getting Thad, even the way we did at the end of his career, was very beneficial for our team in that way. Some people say, oh, that Thad Young deal was stupid. Why did we get him from the Spurs? No, he was good to have on our team for multiple reasons. And that crossover on Joel Embiid is one of them. And then Jakob. The Jakob deal has absolutely been a fantastic thing. And if there's any kind of like storyline the Spurs fans making up to make it seem like we failed in getting Jakob, they're idiots. They're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. They really don't. Because in some ways, they just want to make themselves feel better is what it is. All right, come on now. Full name answer, please, for this classic card. He kind of looks like Gilgeous-Alexander if he was in that era. A little bit. I mean, if Gilgeous had that that haircut at that time, maybe in the late 80s, early 90s is when we are with this card. So come on, y'all. I know the shine is on his face. Clues, please. Well, I don't give clues until I get names. So I need names, and then I get a couple guesses, and then I'll give you clues on the name. Yeah, or the clues about who it is. but I need a couple of guesses just out of the blue. You could just write random names in, and I'll take them as the guesses. But I don't like giving clues until somebody says something. Del Curry. Del Curry's not a bad guess. He played at this time, but that is not Del Curry. Kaz. That is not the father of Steph and Seth Curry. That is not Michael Jackson. He. Yeah, it's not Michael Jackson. You know, there was a Michael Jackson that played in the NBA. There have been Michael Jacksons. Blue Edwards. I love that one. Stargate, that's a great guess. Blue Edwards. Blue Edwards. Theodore Blue Edwards is not the answer. So I want to say this. This guy won a championship with the Detroit Pistons in 1989. That's right. This guy made a championship with the Detroit Pistons, the first champion Pistons team for the Detroit Pistons was 1989, and he was on the original Detroit championship team. And I think this guy got traded to the Raptors for a split second. He might even been on the Raptors for a second. Shaq Lindsay saying Thad spoke ill about his experience in Toronto. That's not really kind of what he did. He just complained about customs. I think he had a good time in Toronto. I think that his wife had issues with COVID at the time. I think his wife may have had some issues with some of the weather, but for the most part, I think that Shakina was actually happy in Toronto in some ways, because in some ways we handled the pandemic way better than the United States. So I think the Young family actually was very happy to be on the Raptors during the COVID pandemic, because she was very much about masks and regulations, and the U.S. was not doing that, and Canada was. So they were happy about that. Gerald Henderson's a good guess. Gerald Henderson was on that team, and he was a backup guard like this guy was on that team, but this is not that backup guard. There's a different backup guard that was on that team, but Gerald Henderson was definitely around. Actually, Gerald Henderson was on the second Pistons championship team. He was on the 90 team. This guy was on the 89 team. And he was on the team with a guy like Fennis Dembo. Fennis Dembo. Whoa, let's just drop the Fennis Dembo. This guy's got a very common name. He has one of the most common names in the last name in the NBA. And his first name has actually been guessed already. Fiercey guessed it. She got the first name right when she said, he. Yeah, his last name is very common, this player right here. His last name is very common. And, well, you guys know the first name, because Fiercey guessed it when she guessed the Moonwalker there. Yeah. And, well, he was on that Detroit Pistons team. That's right. Michael Smith. There was a Michael Smith at that time, but he played for the Celtics, and he was a white guy in the league at that time. Michael Williams is the right answer. That's right. There you go. Kareem Thomas, you are my fantasy WNBA opponent, and you are the classic card winner of the day. Michael Williams of the Detroit Pistons, Bad Boys, backup point guard for them after Vinnie Johnson and Isaiah Thomas. Michael Williams is the answer. Not Michael Jordan. No. Michael Williams. There's the name right there. Michael Williams. Boom goes the dynamite. Kareem Thomas, you're going to get 200 points on the classic card, because that was a tough one. Honestly, that's a tough one. Michael Williams is not a very well-known NBA player in the history. Some of y'all might remember Michael Williams, but a lot of you do not. That's right. Michael Williams, and it'll be Cream getting the points, and it is 200. We're going to give him 200 for this one. Boom goes the dynamite. All right, I'm almost close to 2 hours here, just under 3 minutes to 2 hours. If you guys have any last comments, I'll do the wrap up for the show. Get your comments and questions in now before I wrap up the show right now. All right, looking back yesterday, Scottie was on Twitch for 4 hours yesterday. And he spent a lot of time with everybody, building his character, talking to everybody, enjoying the 2K26 and feeling it out. He actually went a range of emotions on it. He went from this game is buns to this game is awesome to this game sucks. I don't want to play it anymore. There was a lot of that back and forth on, feeling like, oh, this game's better. I like 226. Oh, I missed 25. Oh, I like 26. I missed 25. There's a lot of that going on with Scottie yesterday. In his twitching. That's right. Yeah. Wow. What a guess. Michael Williams was right. You guessed Michael Williams and you got it. There you go. Williams is a pretty common last name in the NBA's history. Yeah. Williams for sure. Yeah. Also yesterday, Sandro Mamu and Georgia beat Spain. It was a fantastic game. Love seeing our backup center come and get a big juggernaut in Eurobasket like Spain and Give them an L. There you go, Sergio. There's an L for you and Wancho and Wheelie. And yeah, the Georgian team beating Spain. I don't know if Spain's going to win Eurobasket this year because they're defending champions. They already lost their first matchup. Yeah, I don't think they're going to win this time. And then also Canada last night, dominance on the court against Colombia. Just absolutely badass stuff from Keyshawn George, Leonard Miller, Kyle Whitmer, and Whitler, and all the rest of them. Trey Bell Haynes, Charles Bediako, Kabangili. Really good job, guys. I look forward to seeing you guys kick some ass in the next matchup in the semifinals of the America. Let's go. All right, tomorrow, guys, we're doing a Saturday Share Love Club for Brian Macon, the trainer of Scottie Barnes. I got to show some love for this guy. He had a health scare this year. He's up in a new training facility that's amazing. And he's a win between Scottie's wings to help him get trained up to be a better Raptor for us every year. So let's share the love for Brian Macon, the personal trainer of Scottie Barnes, tomorrow on Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, join the channel. Membership has its privileges. You get on our Discord and our Facebook group and other great kind of perks and stuff like that. Let's go, Raptors. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Isaac saying I was going to say Michael Porter Jr., but that would be a bad bet. Yeah, Porter is not that common as a name. Terry Porter.